As a 16-year high school English teacher, I've seen how writing that is not clear and concise costs students easy grades. Most students don't realize that they're making three major mistakes. The good news is that fixing them is a lot easier than you think. In this video, I'll show you the simple fixes to start earning A pluses with clear and concise writing. Let's take a look at that first mistake. Many students wrongly believe that longer sentences equals smarter. So they add unnecessary words and phrases that sound academic, Englishy. In reality, it's not longer sentences, it's clear and concise, aka simple sentences that earn the grades and make you look smarter. Teachers value clarity. When your writing is hard to follow, even good ideas seem weak. And because teachers have at least 30 essays to mark at a time, they're not going to struggle to figure out what you actually mean. They're just going to assign a low mark. Not only that, if you take too long to get to the point, you're also going to run out of time when you're writing exams. Hear that? That's another D minus. The good news, 2 simple changes to editing will instantly make your writing stronger by shortening those sentences. Let's start with our first fix. Use the one breath rule. When you're editing your essays, read them out loud. If you can't read your sentence in one breath without pausing, then it's too long. Rewrite it and shorten it. And the second fix, always try to use one strong word instead of a few short ones. Let me give you examples. In order to can simply be rewritten as to. Due to the fact that can simply be reworded as because. It is important to note that could just be eliminated because if it's important to note, just get into it in the writing. Don't tell us that it's important. And good news, if you want a list of longer phrases that can be shortened to one word, click in the description below. I have a cheat sheet for you. You've shortened your sentences, but I hear you complain, I've got to make a word count. Short sentences won't get me to 1,000 words. The secret to good writing, though, isn't adding more words, it's cutting out the right one. So let's take a look at how you can trim the fat in your writing without losing the depth. Mistake number 2 is that students use a lot of fluff words. I define fluff words as extra words that don't add any clarity, value, or detail to the writing. If you can eliminate that word or that phrase and the sentence still makes sense, it's fluff. On your end, wordy writing makes writing actually harder to edit. And this leads to frustration and procrastination because you don't even know what you want to say. If you don't know what to say, you're going to lose impact on essays and even worse, university application and scholarships. Admissions officers just skim essays. If your writing is bloated, your message gets lost and sorry, you don't get accepted. The reason students over-explain is because they fear the reader won't understand their point. So they just keep adding. But here's the tricky part. You might not even realize you're doing it. In fact, most students don't even realize they add fluff words until it gets pointed out by others. And sadly, that's usually the teacher pointing it out when the essays are getting marked. Oh boy, there was another D minus. So how do you know if your writing is packed with unnecessary fluff? Here are 3 simple strategies. First, no long wind-up. Just get to the point. Listen to this. Instead of writing, in today's world, technology has become an essential part of our lives. One area where technology plays a crucial role is communication. Just cut out that beginning and simply say, technology plays a crucial role in communication. So once you get rid of those long wind-ups and start saying what you want to say, you need to have a fluff word list so you can actually go hunting for those fluff words. Start crossing out words like really, very, kind of, basically, somewhat, because they don't add any value. For example, she was really tired after the long race. Just say she was tired after the long race. Or how about this? He was kind of angry. Just say he was angry. Is there a difference between kind of angry and angry? No, you're angry. And if you want a list of common fluff words, you can click down in the description below because I've added it for your benefit. This third trick is actually really interesting. It's to edit in reverse. Edit sentence by sentence, but start at your very last one and work towards your first. The reason is when we read from beginning to end, we kind of just go on autopilot. But if you start backwards, it forces you to actually look at every sentence individually and make sure that there are no fluff words and it's as clear and concise as it possibly can be. Now that your writing is shorter and less fluffy, which are 2 key aspects of clear and concise writing, how do you actually make your sentences powerful? A short sentence isn't enough. It needs to be engaging. And that's where the last step of clear and concise writing comes in. If you found any value in this video, please consider giving the channel a subscribe down below. It would be the highlight of my teaching career. Mistake number 3 is that students use complicated sentences, not powerful ones. Complicated does not equal powerful, and you can see this by readers losing interest in what you have to say, especially teachers. If your writing is confusing, people stop reading and teachers just assign a low grade. There's another D-. That lack of clarity extends to the real world, because if you have difficulty communicating, whether it's writing an email, a resume, a job application, or an interview, unclear writing, or speaking in this case, makes you seem unprepared and sadly broke because you can't land that job. If you think your writing is clear, you still may be making mistakes that weaken your arguments without even realizing it. But here's the thing, you don't have to be a naturally gifted writer or spend hours re-editing and revising. You just need 3 simple tweaks to make your writing way more powerful. Let me show you how. The first is to use the period test for sentence length. If you worry that your sentences are too long, whenever you see a comma, try replacing that with a period. It'll make your sentences a lot more crisp, and it'll allow you to mix in longer sentences with nice short ones. Here's a really simple example from a short story. You can hear the difference. She ran to the store, and even though it was raining, she didn't stop because she needed milk, which was very important for the recipe she was making. Whew. I didn't have to take a breath after that. But if you replace some of those commas with periods, listen to how it sounds. She ran to the store. Even though it was raining, she didn't stop. She needed milk for her recipe. That sounds so much better, but even if you're writing shorter sentences, there's still a hidden problem that makes your writing feel weak. So the second fix is to swap weak verbs for strong ones. Verbs are the easiest way to make your writing sound powerful and engaging. For a simple example, he walked slowly across the room. Walked is a kind of weak verb. However, if you change that walked slowly to strolled, he strolled across the room, it just sounds a lot better. So for this, thesaurus.com is probably going to be your best friend to find really precise verbs that make your writing clear and concise and powerful. The last thing you could probably do, and the third tweak, is what I call the 30% rule. And this basically says, see if you can't rewrite the sentence by using 30% fewer words. You're still going to be able to keep the same message, but now it's going to be clear and concise. Just listen to this example. The reason why the author includes this example is because he wants to show how the character feels. Cutting out 30% of the words will rewrite it to this. The author includes this example to show the character's emotions. Boom. Much more clear, much more concise. Shout out to Mex for this video idea. He commented in a previous video and asked for a guide on clear and concise writing. If you want any help with your writing, leave a comment below and I can make a video on it. If you've had trouble with clear and concise writing, you're probably having trouble with clear and concise thesis statements as well. If that's the case, click on this video here where I show you exactly how to write a clear and concise thesis for any essay.